Originally, we attended the Episcopal Church up the street, and when changes started being made, there was a group of us that felt that that was only the beginning, that there would be additional changes, and we were concerned about that. And we sought the advice of a bishop in Roanoke who actually was with the ACC, and we discussed with him whether or not it would be a possibility of our becoming a church. When we first established, we advertised in the newspaper that we were having a meeting, which actually was at our home, and invited the community, and it was very surprising how many attended and who also came from Christ Church. The church has had many peaks and valleys. When we first began a church, we grew quickly, and the membership was almost 80 people, and had young families with children and all ages, elderly, and it was really exciting.
I happened to see an ad in the newspaper for and we were then St. Francis, and I thought, gee, that's the church I pass quite frequently, and I should, check it out. I was so impressed. They were friendly, they were welcoming, they were obviously devout. And I said to myself, I found my home. I came in 2008, and if you look at the time until we were able to have Father Miller come, we lost 14 people. So I think that's the handwriting on the wall, that a church is, maybe going to be surviving for a time, but is not going to have a bright future, and that was what we saw.
As the years went on, we became a church of older membership, and then people started dying off.
Other thing that just created a lot of instability was that there was, for those 7 years, there was only 2 years that we had a regular priest. There really wasn't anything through the week to attract people in, or Sunday school, or things of that sort. So we, I think, suffered by not having a regular clergy. Physical plant, we had a sanctuary that was shabby in terms of not having money to maybe keep up with repairs as we would hope, and also the outside of the church was not too well landscaped or flowered. I think we prayed for a miracle, but nobody, I think, really was sure that was going to happen.
We were struggling there at the end. We actually were down to 6 people, and we prayed. We didn't know whether or not we would be able to keep our doors open. And I think the community thought we weren't even a church, an active church.
We were at our lowest point, and we're starting, to face the situation that we probably would have to close.
So we honestly were at the throes of selling the building when Father Miller appeared on the scene.
I would say that the coming of Father Miller was a miracle.
And God truly sent him to us. And it's been amazing to see what's happened in the years. He's been here 7 years, and the growth has just been amazing.
The place had really been let go. They were down to 6 people. And so when we got here, we knew that one of the things we would have to do is we would have to really just clean up the place. And so we spent probably the first year, in addition to letting people know that we were here, we changed our name and getting the word out there. We were in the festivals, whether it was the Gobbler Fest, which is the Virginia Tech big festival, or Steppin' Out, which is the Blacksburg Festival. But we also spent a lot of time just on our hands and knees, scrubbing, ripping up old carpets where the must and the mold had settled in. The place did not have air conditioning, so all the humidity would just be trapped in the building. And it was really it was a family effort. My boys with me, getting on our knees, taking out carpets, taking out staples, and taking out pews so we could put a new floor in. So it really was a family effort on our part, looking to make it presentable, because if you're telling people to come and see, well, if they walk in and they have allergy attacks because of how bad the mold and must is, they'll come and see all right, and then they'll never be back.
And we've also done a lot with the outside. I think we're on a busy street where people are driving back and forth, and we often have had banners when we're having, special kinds of activities, but also we have flowers, we have a well-manicured lawn, and I think those things get attention from people. That it's a nice place to look at, and maybe I should go see what it is inside.
Well, I came to St. Philip's after a quick Google search of Anglican churches in my area.
I just went on Google and I was like, Anglican church near me.
I came to St. Philip's several years ago after being a catechumen in the Orthodox Church.
I grew up in a charismatic Pentecostal background.
We came to St. Philip's looking for more, honestly, for a depth of tradition which we have found.
I was raised Anglican, so from the time I was really small, I was going to Anglican church, and then we met in college, and we're kind of, exploring a little bit, and then when we came back to this area, we found St. Philip's, and we just instantly fell in love with it and found the community right away.
We came to St. Philip's because we were looking for a more liturgical church experience, primarily.
There is just a sense of people come here not necessarily trying to escape something. They're looking for something that really speaks to the holiness and the reverence that they're kind of been missing or even never had.
I found something I didn't think I was looking for, which was a sense of reverence and awe and beauty in the church, just through the preaching, the liturgy, and some of the icons.
When I discovered traditional Anglicanism, I definitely found home.
Everybody was nice. It felt like everybody really wanted me to be here,
The children were always very welcomed. We felt very welcome. And I think that's a big part of choosing the right place for your family. When I come here on Sunday, it's not about me and it's not about the other people. It's about God, and that's what church should be.
I was just really, really blessed by the liturgy, and it really spoke to me every single week in a very unique way.
The thing I love most about St. Philip is the family, They don't see you as just another number in the church. They see you as part of the family,
We've loved the beauty of the service. We've loved the community that we've found, the relationships we've built.
The biggest thing I love about St. Philip's is we have such a tight community within the church. It seems like I'm meeting new people very often and get to talk about theology and things like that pretty often, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the community was, the biggest thing that we were both drawn to, and we have found that here in our church, especially for someone like me who didn't grow up in the area.
And we have all ages. We still have the elderly. We have young families with children. We have college people, young professionals. It's just so exciting. And we have so many activities going on in the church.
I love that my children are a part of the community and a part of the church from their baptism. I want them to be in a multi-generational church from the start, and that's been really great about St. Philip's.
I love the congregation, and I think that we're a caring group that looks out for people.
There's a real spirit of unity here, and I think everybody's on the same page. The change is almost day and night. Not to be too dramatic about it, but you had 6 people here limited resources and a building that looked like it had been neglected for quite a while. Now, people always comment about how beautiful the building is and what's been done in terms of whether it's the flooring, obviously the docile curtain, the altar, the icons, and all of that. And they're very much attracted to that building.
Changes that occurred with us, I think it has brought me to a greater understanding of the Holy Spirit and how it does change lives.
Oh, during my time here, it has grown exponentially. There were probably 15 to 20 people here when we started. Now we're averaging well over 60 people on Sundays, and we have several young families, a bunch of kids. We have a new pipe organ. So it's great. The changes here have been wonderful.
The changes that I've noticed in St. Philip's are the growth not only numerically, but the growth that have happened in the people who want to learn more about the ancient faith, and those who are more concerned about how they can turn something that seems in the past and not necessarily relevant for today and to incorporate it into their own lives so that they may use what they know about God and about the Christian faith to reach others who are seeking for something that maybe they don't know what they're looking for, but find it when they get here.
I think it's just continuously growing, and I think each week, the people that we do have, the members that we do have here are bringing a friend or bringing family, and so I think that's just a testament to what we're doing here, and people are attracted to it, and we're welcoming.
Continuing to grow.
My hope is that we'll go into a more bigger church.
Well, I hope continued growth.
We continue to grow and be a part of the community and show the presence of Christ to all those around us and know that they are always welcome here.
For us to outgrow our current building.
We're going to grow and we're going to have lots of different ages of children, and I really look forward to that, to seeing what our community is like when that happens.
Our hopes for the future are just continued exposure to the community around us, and more people can comprehend what's going on here and what we're doing.
I would hope that we will be able to expand our influence, and our numbers in the community and be seen as, a parish of committed families looking for God and looking for Bible study and growth in the faith.
My hope for our future is that we will continue to grow. I want to raise up future leaders, priests. I think that's a big point of emphasis that we need to do because it's going to be needed.
We need churches like this, we need churches with all the craziness going on in the world right now. We need more churches.
Being that we have access to all the sacraments, I think that we have such a good foundation in this church that if we can really get outreach and get people to come and see that people really might be interested in that. And
people are searching for substance, and something that's concrete, and that's exactly what Anglican Catholicism is. It's rooted, in tradition, and we have liturgy in our mass, and like James was saying, just the access and knowledge about sacraments and fulfilling those and partaking in those, I think is something that people are really craving.
We are an example of what happens when the diocese invests, and what happens here at St. Philip's needs to be reduplicated, and it can be. And so my hope is that we will be an encouragement to the diocese and also an example of what happens when you invest in the right place, not just in any place, but in the right place with the right leadership, and give the leadership the support they need. And I think St. Philip should be a great example, if you will, a template for how we do missions as a diocese. St. Philip's was able to do what it was able to do because of the generous support of the diocese, and to continue that generosity so that we can be proactive rather than reactive and really have a sense of mission for the diocese.